good one. They're all great, but it's, just keep it rolling. So this week we're having my buddy Mike and my good friend Alina, who happen to be good friends to one another.
Yeah.
How you been, Mike? How you been? I haven't gotten to see you in a while. The coronavirus did happen. The coronavirus did happen to you specifically.
It did, man. It's brutal. It's brutal. So,
were you able to trace back at all where you potentially think you were able to contact it from?
We were able to, for the most part. So anytime you get COVID, the Department of Health actually calls you. So they actually help you trace back your steps. So they can actually contact people that were sick as well. So we contacted, I think about 10 days, we figured out about 10 days worth of people. So we have an idea of where the infection.
We have an idea, but it's one of those things where, but it also could have been this, but it also could have been that. Like we both took it really seriously and we did a lot of stuff and we still got it. So it is what it is.
It's, I mean, really though, and I know there's a lot of people who have their opinions. I mean, you can take care of yourself, but if other people aren't taking themselves, you're going to get sick.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I mean, I've been staying in. I got into disc golf during COVID, social distancing, got into smoking meat. Alina and I moved in together. So we really limited our exposure outside our house.
Yeah.
And we still got it. So
we still got it.
It was brutal.
Well, I think, at this point, it's got to be everywhere at this point. It's just who's showing symptoms, who isn't showing symptoms.
Exactly. Especially with the flu and everything. And people keep thinking, oh, herd immunity, but no, that's not science right now. So.
And here's what people don't get though. So quarantine is recommended for 10 days, but it's actually 14 for while you're shedding. Mm-hmm. So right now, for the most part, I think we're over our symptoms for the most part.
Yeah, we're over our symptoms for the most part.
Still got a little bit of a cough.
Still have nastiness happening, but other than that, we're still supposed to stay to ourselves. I think it's till next Wednesday. And after that, they're like 2 weeks, make sure you wear masks. And it's like, no, just tell me to keep it on. It's fine. I don't plan on getting this again. It's crazy.
So we're going through a quarantine light to where we're allowed to leave the house. Even if we're outdoors, we need to wear a mask. But we shouldn't be going into big public spaces.
Yeah.
Because we should be done shedding the virus. We should be,
but you never know.
Yeah. Better safe than sorry.
Yeah,
so we're talking, man, 4 weeks, man. And that's what the impact on the economy is. Luckily, I have a job to where I work from home. But if I wasn't able to work from home, I would have had to take 4 weeks work off of work.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was brutal, but we're safe, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
We got through the hard part.
We got through it. We got very lucky. We got very mild cases, and it still sucked.
Oh my God. The 103.
Yeah, I saw one of the I can't remember which one of you put it on your Instagram story, but where Mike tried to drink something and then squirted lemon juice in his mouth, and he's like, "Yep, I can't fucking taste anything."
Yeah, we started with this, and I was like, "There's no way." I saw some TikTok where this moron did it, and then I'm like, "Oh shit!" And so we bit into an onion, we took a shot of lemon juice, and we're like, "Great, we're screwed." You could tell what it is because there's either acid or not, but your brain is filling in the rest of the flavor. It's not actually there. And that is such a mind fuck because it's like Phantom Limb, but for snacks. It's
like when you think you had an orange soda and you pick it up and take a drink, but turns out it was Dr. Pepper and you're like, that's the worst orange soda I've ever had.
What's the worst version of that you've ever done though? Because I thought I was drinking milk one time and I had orange juice and there is nothing worse.
I'm going to one up you.
Oh.
So my grandma Polly, she's a very traditional Kentuckian, and she would drink a half a Busch Light and just keep it open in her fridge. So she poured in those pop glasses or soda glasses. So I reached into the fridge. I think I was 7 or 8. I reached into this fridge thinking I was getting Sprite, and I had Busch Light.
Oh man.
I don't know if that's the one up, but that's still. I mean, it's still Busch Light, so I feel you.
I think most of my fuck ups have been picking up a soda and just thinking it was a different soda. Like it wasn't too bad, but it's definitely just that moment where you're like,
When
man,
you're
this.
expecting creamy and you get tart, it is
Ooh.
not a good day, sir.
Oh no, not even close.
I can't do anything dreamsicle flavored, any of that orange vanilla shit. I cannot to this day.
I literally I have a tattoo. It probably won't be able to show up here very well. That's a creamsicle with a bite out of it.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, I will never lick your arm, sir.
Coronavirus.
Thank God. Thank God. I've been walking around my whole life afraid someone was gonna lick my arm. So having any confirmation at all that I know at least one person's not gonna do it.
You live to fight another day.
It was fucking worth getting tattooed now. So when I started this podcast, me and Mike have talked about all kinds of stuff for as long as we've known each other. And like it's gone from beer to shoes to bourbon to more serious shit. And like Mike's definitely been open publicly, maybe not about specifics of the experience, but the specifics of dealing with depression, anxiety, beating yourself up, and which I'm sure for anyone that's listening that doesn't know, my boy Mike is a very avid jujitsu athlete. Should I say that? Is that
Biggie Smalls jiu-jitsu shirt for you guys? I'm breaking out my favorite shirt for y'all.
Yeah, you train jujitsu a lot. You've got a lot of good friends that have done a lot of really cool things with their life through the sport of, and
Shit, man.
but that's like I really kind of wanted. I definitely wanted to go more into some of that for sure with you.
For sure, man. I'm an open book, you know.
So when I met you, and I met you through beer, and we would be waiting in lines at beer releases, and like for as long as I can remember, like even when you're in moments where you have been down, you hide it well, because you're the happy motherfucker. Like you are happy, you are bringing people up. You're gonna try to bring people up that don't even want to be brought up. Like But then like I'll see something you post, or we'll have a conversation or whatever it is, and then I'm just like, damn, dude, like you want it, like you're a people pleaser. You want or you at least want people to be happy.
I like to have a good time, and you know, most importantly, I want everybody to have a good time. And you know, and the thing about depression and anxiety is that we know how bad it is, and we don't want anybody to see us suffering. And I don't want to put that on other people. You know, I'm not ashamed of my disease. It's something, you know, I'm still taking a lot of medicine right now, especially during COVID. I go to therapy almost every week, especially around the holidays. It's been really tough, so I've been going to therapy twice a week. But I've been doing that for like 5 or 6 years because it's such a deadly disease, and I'm not afraid to show pain. I just don't want anybody to experience pain because of me. And one common thing that people with that have mental health, you know, diseases such as anxiety, depression, eating disorders, is that we like to make those around us feel better. So if it's at a bottle share, I'm breaking out big bottles. If you're coming over to our house after COVID, come over. I'm going to throw on some steaks on the smoker, and we're going to pop some good bourbon. You know, especially when you're in a suicidal state and you don't know if you're going to make it to the next day, just seeing people was what I would look forward to. If I can see my friends, then I get to look forward to seeing my friends again and again. So, you know, that's why you guys saw a good version of me, because I was truly happy to be around people. Because hell, you know, when you're suicidal, you just don't know if you're going to make it to the next day.
But if you have somebody else to take care of and somebody else to entertain and a room to improve.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Big time.
It changes everything.
Yeah.
So when you when I first met you, you were married. So since the last time that we've really gotten to hang out, and then COVID had happened and that marriage is over. But did it end bad? And we don't, once again, don't have to do specifics. This is more mental. This is more of a mental thing. Did it end mentally negatively for you? Or was it a weight off your mind?
No, you know, and it's something that I work with my therapist even now I mean, there's no doubt I'm madly in love with Alina. I mean, you know how I talk about her.
Absolutely. I know how both of you talk about one another, so
I mean,
we
Shut
can.
up, dude. I said he's a okay?
you know, but
I know more than anybody wants me to know.
ah,
Uh-oh.
with a with a marriage like mine, my ex-wife is, I mean, I won't ever say a bad thing about her. Ashley is one of the most amazing people I've ever had the chance to get to know and grow up with. But I was young when we met. We got married when I was 27, and we were married for 10 years and together for 13, So we met when I was 25, and, I made a lot of mistakes early. And those mistakes compound over time. And, one thing and you have a similar experience is really fostering that love and intimacy every single day. Just because you're married doesn't mean you're instantly going to be in love. Love is communication. It is
a choice.
It's a choice.
I say that all the time.
Yeah, you have to choose it every single day. Yeah.
No, and that's hard, right? Because I had an amazing life that I felt that was at a point to where it was best for both of us to go our different routes, and that's
People
hard.
change, especially over that amount of time. And like what I tell people, because me and my wife, we were married back in 2014, and so it's wild for me to try to explain to people that haven't been married or aren't married, and I'm like, it's the weirdest thing about it is that before I was married, I was very, very quick to cut people off. And like super quick. Like if there was just something about you where I was like, nah, I'm gonna cut you off. And it's the weirdest thing about marriage is to just completely accept who a person is all the time. And they're going to change because we all fucking change. But like it's that choice to consistently accept how fucking weird the person you're married to is. Like,
Stuff on that one, boy, did you not?
God, I know, didn't I?
So, but no, it's the other night. Alina talks in her sleep.
sweet.
No,
I'm able to get
not sweet. He asks shit.
I
It's
get some
not
information.
okay.
Yeah.
He like,
Wait.
so you know that blah blah blah. I'm like, what the f are you talking about?
Wait, so you answer questions? Like you're not just talking.
Oh, love it.
No, it's terrible because I have no idea what's going on. So if he chooses, I don't know what I have or haven't done because he has to choose to share this with me. I don't remember any of it usually, or I'll remember something very vague. But
That would make for great reality TV.
Oh, so good. But this happened recently. She was just telling me, she's like, with her eyes closed, it's like, Mike, I choose you.
oh God,
I choose you.
maybe I was talking to Pikachu or something. Like maybe it wasn't that deep.
So I started almost crying, like even in her dreams, she's making a conscious effort to choose us because she's also going through a long-term breakup at the same time.
Yeah, it wasn't a marriage. I mean, that's a whole different level. And I
time is time. Marriage is
Time is
legal.
True, very true. And I mean, it was 7 years. It was a very long.
Like for example, like my wife's mother's parents, they were, I believe they got married at some point, but then they split up. But they literally lived in the same apartment building directly across the fucking hall from one another, and they still helped each other out. Like they were essentially married, kind of still. Like they would take care of each other and fucking keep each other company and probably play fucking cards. They just lived in a separate apartment. That was all.
Yeah.
I mean, I still go down. My dogs, my cats, are still down with my ex-wife. So I'm down there about every couple of weeks. We're still, obviously there's still financial entanglement there.
Well, they're still friends. That's not going to change.
No,
it wasn't like a bad.
Yeah,
like a
well, and I to be honest, like I've seen interaction on Facebook between you guys like within the last month or so. So I'm like, they're obviously fucking cool with each other.
Oh yeah, we make fun of each other. We'll send each other stupid memes, and she'll see me post something. She's like, "There you go again! Like, stop buying stuff." She's like, "You don't need another disc."
I agree with her. Stop
buying those fucking shoes, Mike.
No.
Hey, You've been
I know.
striking out. You've been striking out on some of those shoes lately. I see your posts, but you get lucky on the cool shit though. That
I
drives me
did for a
nuts.
little bit, but now I'm having to buy some secondary.
What are the ones that you got me that everybody's always drooling
Oh,
over?
dude. For her birthday, I surprised her with semi-frozens.
Oh, nice,
Yeah.
nice.
I know jack shit about shoes, but I like bright colors, so I was okay.
Just know this: when you are walking anywhere with those on, motherfuckers are looking.
Oh, I know. I know. Normally they're looking for complete other reasons, and now it's like women coming up to me like, "I like your shoes." I'm like,
Like
"Yeah."
I had bought it was it was a weird pair of shoes for this experience to happen to me, but I had bought the reissues of Shaq's first shoe when he came into the
Yes,
league.
they just came out recently, actually.
So I bought them because they did when they first re-released them, they did the Orlando Magic colorway, a Lakers colorway, I believe a Phoenix Suns colorway because he was there for like 5 games. And then but I bought them and I think we were going to Target. We're walking into Target and there's a couple walking past us leaving Target. And I heard the husband say something, but I couldn't make out what he said.
Yeah.
And my wife leans over and she was like, he was just talking to his wife and said, "Look at those fucking shoes. Those are awesome." And I was like, dude, like dudes in their mid-40s seeing a fucking shoe that Shaq wore and was ripping rims down in. It was just cool. I mean, but that's not the pair of shoes that you would expect motherfuckers to talk about. Like that wouldn't be.
Guys our age, yeah. I mean, honest, there's a pair of Sean Kemp's that got re-released. It was like one of my first like nice basketball shoes.
Sean Kemp was the most electric basketball player I've ever watched, just as far as an entertainment value.
That's fun. I forget, it's the Sean Kemp's. It's like I sent you a picture.
You've shown them. I'm learning.
Yeah, it's the kamikaze, right?
The kamikaze. Yeah, God, those shoes are so hard. So I might be a Christmas present to myself, but I picked up a couple pairs of Jordan 1s lately, but I've been striking out a lot. So it's hurt.
You got to get the Sakai's. That's all.
She likes Sakai's, man. Look at her. She's got some drip. She wants to get me Sakai's. So please do.
Yeah.
So Alina, your family is from Puerto Rico, correct?
My mother's from Cuba, but I'm born and raised in Puerto Rico. My mother was from Puerto Rico.
All right. So when did you move to the mainland? I guess I should call it.
That's exactly.
That feels so shitty to fucking say it that way.
You said it right. I appreciate that because you're like, when did you immigrate or emigrate or when did you? And I'm like, no, bitch, I just moved. Like I just moved, right? Just pretend it's Wisconsin. No, but I came to the mainland in '97, fresh out of high school. The second I could.
Was it that bad? Was it that bad there? Or did you just want new experience?
You know, hindsight is 2020. I never fit in though. And that was, I mean, you know, I still don't fit in anywhere, but I'm okay with it now. But here I was, you know, I was this really pale kid. I never had an accent. I preferred English. I was awkward and you know, it was bad. Like I just didn't fit in. So I dreamt of just like leaving to find where my people were. And so I ended up in Iowa.
Did you throw a fucking dart at a map or what? Like
kind of. I applied to 2 places and I got accepted at both of them. But one of the places that I had applied to was literally because some dude showed up at our school, like harvesting little Hispanic kids to take to this school in Iowa.
Was that Iowa? The other school
was
Harvard.
Iowa. Yes, the other school was Harvard.
She got accepted to Harvard.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And I made
That's pretty fucking cool. That's pretty cool.
Fucking cool, but I didn't go, did I? So but no, this guy came and he was some super nice, like he looked like he came out of like a soap opera, dude from Colombia, and he's like telling us how awesome Iowa is and how we're gonna love it so much. So that's how I ended up in Dubuque, Iowa.
So when you first came here, I mean, was it much different for you? Because it seems like everybody that was in Puerto Rico still wanted to live the Puerto Rican kind of culture, and it wasn't your thing, really. So was it a big difference for you, or?
It was insane. It was one of those like, what have I done kind of moments. Don't get me wrong. Iowa was great. The people were really nice. I actually miss it. And I loved the time that I spent there. But when the only vastness, and I mean, I traveled to Europe and stuff, but not really a whole lot to the mainland. So as far as vast open space, the only thing I'd ever really seen was ocean. And all of a sudden, as far as I can see, like when I get to Chicago, they put us on this little teeny tiny airplane, and then it's just nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. I mean, Canada, there is nothing. So that was a huge shock. And then to understand that just because you go to a state doesn't mean you're going to what I think that, like, just because you go to New York State doesn't mean you're in Manhattan.
Yeah.
That fucked with me. The fact that like I got into a car in Iowa, and like where Dubuque is, it's the little pig nose of Iowa. So you're just like you are here in Newport and in Covington, like you're right on the state line. The first time that I crossed into Wisconsin, I'm like, I'm lost forever. I'm never getting back. What do I do? Like it's terrifying because I come from, it's 100 by 35.
I just imagine you driving down the highway, just dropping breadcrumbs, like I'll find my way back.
It was terrifying. It was terrifying.
As long as it's that Puerto Rican bread. What is that stuff called?
Pan so wow. I got him hooked. I'm telling you, he's not going to be 218 ever again.
I don't think I've ever had that bread. I need to try that.
Oh my God. See, here's the thing about it though. The bread is impossible to make. And it's like somebody's grandma came up with this shit and nobody will share that recipe. Like I still have people on the island. Like my sister is still alive and well, and she has connections. She can't get it. So luckily I know somebody that like tinkers and figured it out, but
this is like the cocaine of Puerto Rico, right?
Oh, it is. It is. I ask, you work in an airport, the next Hispanic person you see, ask them about pan sobao. You're going to have to get a mop. They're going to drool.
Oh, it's so good, man.
Think of like if a donut were a hoagie.
Yeah.
But without the sugar. Like I'll bring you some. It's just stupid.
Let me know when you can get some shipped inside of some stuffed animals. I will come eat.
Yeah.
Isn't it? It's supposed to be like Virgin Mary statues, damn it. I've seen SVU.
National treasure. I'm trying to steal the Constitution.
Oh my God, where is Nicolas Cage when we need him?
I just watched so Mike, the name of this motherfucking movie is Jiu-Jitsu, right? But so at first I saw the name and I was like, Jiu-Jitsu, huh? And like I'm looking at the movie cover and there's just a dude standing on the front holding a sword. And I was like, well, why is it called Jiu-Jitsu? There's a fucking sword. You don't need a sword when you can rip someone's fucking arm off with your toes. So I watch it. Turns out Nick Cage is in this movie. But here's the thing. There are only like 3 instances where they refer to jiu-jitsu at all on like on any level. So the very first reference to jiu-jitsu, they talked about how they learned jiu-jitsu. And then the second time, it's a classic Nicolas Cage line. He just goes, always remember what you have in jiu-jitsu. Leverage. And I'm like, God damn you, Nick Cage.
Japanese jiu-jitsu.
It's like the hamster style from Orgasmo.
Yeah.
The guys. Did you ever watch Orgasmo?
Dad, I'm not gonna do hamster style anymore. That's nice, son.
I don't want to talk about it.
And then the only other time in that movie where jiu-jitsu was brought up, there was like this final battle between Nick Cage and like this alien fucking robot samurai guy, and Nick Cage had him in some kind of fucking leg lock, had an arm in a similar to a triangle, but he's in a weird fucking position. Like,
I was gonna say, was it legit at all?
It was the closest thing to being legit as far as jiu-jitsu is concerned with that entire movie. But the movie was fucking rad. I loved the movie. The fight scenes were awesome. It was dude, it was filmed like a comic book kind of style. Like it was a really good movie. It just had fucking nothing to do with jiu-jitsu.
In the way that like The Room is good. Because you're telling me jiu-jitsu, Nick Cage, and alien robot dudes. I'm expecting like some shit.
It's really fucking cool. Like there's
How
some
high do we need to get before we watch this movie?
at least one joint.
Okay, all right. I can do that.
Well, so here's what's funny is I actually, and I'm actually gonna be a guest on another podcast that reviews movies. But they're doing like their top 5 movies of the year. And so I'm gonna throw in my top 5. And but they saw my tweet where I said Jiu-Jitsu is actually a pretty badass movie. And they replied and they were like, did you see something we didn't see? And I was like, I don't know, man. It was 2 a.m. and I was high as fuck, dude. And
There
I
you go. That's what I'm saying. I just want
watched
to make
this
sure I
movie
have
called
the right
Jiu-Jitsu
drugs
with a
for that
sword.
experience.
Speaking of jujitsu, sometimes I dream in jujitsu.
Oh my god! Oh my god! He does.
Because
like fucking holds and shit.
He almost killed me this morning.
So I was having a dream that I was doing jujitsu. I was practicing jujitsu with one other person in his basement. He's a high level brown belt. Man, Johnny V. Boy, this guy's so good. But he moved out to California, and I don't feel comfortable going into a gym right now. I just don't. But I still think about competing a lot. So I really want to get my black belt. And I just wake up to Alina screaming, Mike. Oh, I had her in a full rear naked choke.
Yeah.
Full, like I was
like he was
in.
holding me, like
Oh, man.
I'm the little spoon kind of situation, like everything's fine, and then all of a sudden, he's just like, and I'm like, and I know enough now to know what was about to happen, so I like scrolled out of there. I'm like,
I remember the dream.
Like, what did I do to you?
I was in a match and I was losing, and I reversed a person and took their back and choked them out. It's a very
so if I die, now you know. Just don't get choked out. I mean, but like you spend so much time as a female. Never mind.
So Mike, we're getting like just dealing with just the different levels of depression and anxiety and whatnot you've had to deal with. As far as like the treatment for it, which would be therapy and or drugs, more than likely you were probably either misdiagnosed or misprescribed something, I'm assuming, because everyone I know is, or you just have to find your levels of drugs that are good for you to where you don't feel like a robot and you also feel happy. So which one of those worked better for you? Was like therapy like a real, so I've to preface any of this, I've taken some sociology classes and I've taken some psychology classes, and that's why I do care about my friends and how they're doing. But it's always interesting to me to see if it was talking to somebody who actually fucking listens and cares that changes or matters, or do the drugs eventually when you get them where you need to be, like which one's more helpful, or is it a hand-in-hand thing?
It's to me, it's it also kind of depends where you're at, because mental health, like I don't suffer from mental health. Like I feel like I do a pretty damn good job managing my mental health. So I have mental health. Now sometimes it's a sliding scale, right? And part of that, what really helps with that, the sliding scale, the medication really helps with that. Your SSRIs that really help with the chemical connections in your brain, and then other medicine that kind of help with your day to day. But medicine alone, think about it as this: if you just take supplements and don't work out, you're still going to get pretty overweight, right?
Yep.
Supplement a healthy diet. So if I'm taking medicine and not going to therapy, no.
You're not doing anything, yeah.
And for me, if I'm going to therapy, if I'm not necessarily practicing, because me and my therapist, we've been together since my first almost suicidal attempt in what? You weren't there for, it's like 15 or 16.
15 or 16 is what you told me.
And he gives me homework. I'm really good at homework. And he tells me things to do every day. I know if I don't meet with my therapist at least once a month, right now it's about every week because it's been hard because of COVID and all that, I get off base. But the biggest shock to me, COVID has taken away my hobbies. Jiu-jitsu. A lot of people will do jiu-jitsu as a way to improve their mental health. I know your boy Zach Moody. I know he's big into that.
He's still training, but they're doing it in a way that they feel safe doing it, and that's fair to them.
Yeah,
But
I
they they
his
they
instructor,
trust, like they basically have like a bubble of like 5 to 6 dudes that train with each other, and those dudes are trusting one another to not be jackasses,
yeah,
essentially.
That's the
I'm
way of
really
the
good
future.
friends. The Club of MMA people, they're awesome. Jeff and Nick and those guys are really good. But you know, something that you have is, and there's an Instagram handle called Submit the Stigma, and it's all about people with mental health and jujitsu. And I recommend checking them out. And so I found the community of mental health in jujitsu, and I realized, you know, when I was training, my brain was just focused on jujitsu, learning, helping people become better. Because I'm an instructor, and I really noticed that of anything I was doing, that was like the thing that put it all together. I don't have that anymore, right?
Yeah.
I'm choosing not to go to a gym right now. That was a huge thing for me. And then my other hobbies include going to Burns. You know, I'm very heavily involved in the Burning Man culture. And what I like about the Burning Man culture is it's an environment for self-expression, an environment to create art, and it's your opportunity to help others as well. That got taken away. You
Yeah.
know, it's not safe to have a
Well, and I
group.
know that was a huge, the burn stuff was a big, Burning Man's a huge thing for you because well, first off, I've seen it firsthand, like you being on the board of making decisions for the regional shit with burns and all that, which I don't personally understand the Burning Man thing because I haven't been.
Yeah.
Um, Also for me, because this is what's funny, I remember one of our early conversations, I think it was after like one you going to like one of your first burns or whatever,
Oh my
and
God.
I was like, oh man, you went out there to take a whole bunch of fucking hallucinogens and watch shit get lit on fire, and you were like, no, I don't even take any of that shit. I was like, there's no fucking way you don't fucking take these drugs and be out. That's what this for. That's what this is for. Like Coachella, people just go there to do drugs.
That's not a fair comparison.
It's not. However, I'm totally unaware. But now that me and Mike have been friends, I've seen him go to these things, and when he gets back, he always does his fucking photo dump of everything. And it just looks like, hey, yeah, people probably are doing drugs, but Mike's not. And it's just fucking people feeling free to be whoever the fuck they want and paint shit and light shit on fire and make music, train jujitsu out in the fucking desert, whatever.
Yeah.
But you know what? You guys are both hitting on something huge. I used to work in mental health, so I work in whiskey now. So I guess I still work in mental health.
Yeah,
But when I worked I worked in clinical addictions research, and I became a person responsible for setting up this gigantic thing called a blending conference with the National Institute on Drug Abuse, and it is the only time during the year that different fields of mental health treatment come together. So you're looking at psychiatrists and psychologists and like, you know, AA people and that whole sort of holistic kind of mindfulness talk therapy kind of way, and then hard drugs, clinical research, etc. They don't share information.
No.
The only time they do it is once a year at this random conference that they're going to for continuing education credits to begin with. So it's not like that's the sole purpose anyway. So nobody's really talking. But if you actually listen to all the voices, you realize that, you know, the talk therapy, you said it, having somebody that's actually caring, but not just caring, somebody capable of helping sort of guide you, not hold your hand too much, but point you in the right direction, that's massive. And sometimes in order to do that, you need armor, and that's what your medication is. If it's a crutch, it's a bad thing. If it's armor, it's a good thing.
That's great.
Well,
And
it's
then
like how Mike was saying, like it's like not having a good diet and not working out, but taking supplements, expecting something. So
But
like when Mike said that, what I thought about was like if you, especially as someone at the beginning of trying to tackle these issues within themselves, like if you're newly prescribed these medications and you're not seeing someone, you're going to be thinking thoughts that you haven't thought probably ever. So you need someone to help you through thinking this shit for the first fucking time.
And that's where that having that self-expression or a practice like jujitsu or some other outlet as well, because that's your connection to yourself, right?
Exactly.
And if you
Well,
don't
and there's got to be something to say with having a routine in that as well,
exactly.
like
If you
any
don't have
routine
that
at all.
constant, you're lost. Yeah.
And then, so you throw that, you know, COVID, it took away my burns. I'm still on the board of, it's called GLE, Great Lakes Experimental Inc. or Arts Incorporated. I'm still on the board of directors for that. I'm still a regional contact for Burning Man. So I'm still heavily involved in the burner community, but I don't have that. And then keep in mind, I'm going through a divorce. Keep in mind, I'm starting a new relationship. Keep in mind, my work changed. And dude, COVID was crazy. So a lot of people's mental health kind of, it's expedited. Things are, you know, I'm more sensitive to things, just in general. But yeah, I need both. Luckily, having disc golf really helped because that's like very COVID friendly. I'm absolutely garbage at it, but it gives me something.
Not that.
And,
Next to me, he's amazing.
but man, I'll tell you about the medication. It was right when we kind of first started dating. They put me on a medication. I got really sick from it. So when I first got prescribed Zoloft, and Zoloft is a kind of a low level SSRI. I was seeing double.
Wow.
I couldn't get to sleep. I was nausea. And there was something else. So I called up my my doctor at the time. I'm like, man, I'm having these side effects. I'm nauseous. I can't sleep. I'm losing a lot of weight. You know, my head's spinning, lethargic. Motherfucker put me on schizophrenic medicine.
Oh, wow. So check this out. I had a friend in high school and he actually got misdiagnosed as being bipolar. He wasn't bipolar at all.
Same.
He got misdiagnosed. This is when he was like 16, 17 years old, right? Maybe even 15.
Who isn't bipolar when they're
So
16 years old, though?
check this shit out, though. They prescribed him lithium. He took lithium for like 9 years without having to fucking take it.
Wow.
So, you know, with bipolar, there's two bipolar. There's I call it if people listen to this with bipolar, I apologize if this is incorrect. The bipolar that we know, that we see in the media, you know, I call it TV bipolar. Manic depressive bipolar.
Slow cycling.
Yeah.
And then they came up with this disease, which is, and people are going to hate when I say this, it's fucking bullshit. It's called bipolar 2. We don't know what the fuck.
What a shit name. Like, we're not even going to try.
We're not even gonna try.
We're just going to throw, basically, we don't know what to do with you. So we're going to call it bipolar 2 and throw all these actual lithium shit at you and call it bipolar 2. So I was actually diagnosed with bipolar 2 at one point this summer because I was withdrawing so bad from this medicine. And I went to a different doctor. I'm like, man, like I'll take all the tests, and if I'm bipolar, let's get me medicated. No, I'm anxious and I have depression.
And you're going through a whole bunch of shit right now. He didn't even listen. He was just like, no, this. And I'm like, Google that. You don't, no.
I mean, and my grandma died at that time. Like,
yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Dude,
Yeah.
this year has been nuts.
Everything.
So like, Mike, you're bipolar. I'm like, what? And I didn't know better. And I sent her a message like, hey, here's a medicine going on. She's like, you do not take that.
Yeah.
And then I found another doctor and we switched SSRIs. So I'm on Prozac. And I'm on something to kind of counteract some of the symptoms of Prozac. And I feel like it's a good mix.
But the most fucked up part about it is that the reason that I know that Seroquel is bad news is because when I was, I don't know, 17 or 18, fresh off the island in the middle.
I used to take that shit to get fucked up.
What, Seroquel?
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
They gave it to me because I was like, I feel like I'm an alien here. I feel alone. I haven't been able to make connections. And they're like, here you go. You're insane. And and I say that, I don't say that lightly. The doctor at the college that I was in said I was, quote, insane. And that's what I ended up getting prescribed. Oh yeah. Like if I would have had a spine, I would have owned that town by now. But they gave me that and it made me incredibly sick. And I went and got a second opinion and they're like, you do not need to be on this. Like you're literally just adjusting.
Like, so here's what's wild is like pretty much every drug anyone's ever talked about as far as like nerve, anxiety, depression type medications.
Yeah.
I've pretty much taken them all, but it was totally a recreation thing. Like it
Wow.
wasn't like it's like when Xanax started fucking coming out.
Ooh, I don't
Like,
like
so I was like 15, 16 when Xanax was like gigantic. And like, dude, I was playing in bands and going to shows, and I'd take 2 Xanny bars, which is way too much for anyone to take.
That's a lot.
That's a lot, homie.
See, I was the dude busting the shit up and snorting it, and then I would drink a 40 and then black out before I even get on stage and then not remember any of my show. And I was like 16.
Wow. I was so sheltered. I didn't do anything like bad. Drinking age was 18 in Puerto Rico though. So if you were a girl, if you had breasts, like drinking age was whenever the hell you wanted it to be.
So kind of like America, kind of like,
yeah, exactly.
America.
So like so like sneaking into the, and I barely got away with anything, but like the 4 times that I snuck into the club, I had my Midori sours and it was amazing. But nothing bad up until I moved. Like I had to move to Ohio to even like smoke a joint. Like
check this out. I had my first drink served to me in a bar when I was 15.
Nice. So you had breasts too.
So here's what happened. So when I was playing in these shows, I used to play at this venue over in Northside Cincinnati area, and I played at a place called The Void, which is no longer in existence. But like 2 doors down, there was a gay bar called Jacob's, and our friend was he was a DJ down there. Keep in mind, I'm like 15, 16, hanging out with 35, 36-year-olds.
That's not creepy at all.
So I go, like, after we get done playing the show, like, it's a Thursday night and it's fucking midnight or whatever, and they all just go down to the gay bar because our buddy Gerald's spinning records. So I go down there and I sit at the bar, and then like we're getting free drinks because they also know the bartender, and he's like, "What do you want?" I'm like 16. I've never ordered a drink. I can't recall which movie I heard this in, but I was like, "I'll have a redheaded slut." And that's what I drank.
Go for the Bon Martini or some crap.
Like from the time I was 15 until I was 19, all I really drank was redheaded sluts.
Oh my God. Why are you looking at me?
I'm just happy.
And now I sell bourbon at the fucking airport. It's crazy how shit works out.
Dude, Midori sours. I'm a Puerto Rican that grew up on Midori sours and pina coladas, and I know more about bourbon now that I could possibly imagine I'm a Kentucky Colonel. Like what? Why?
You did get the Kentucky Colonel thing, didn't you?
Yeah. I was nominated for being a pioneering female in my field, which is insane because there's so many other women that have done so much more. And like, I know it's just being a colonel, but like, it was very cool.
Yeah, but you hold a position that a lot of because shit is unfair and people don't get paid what the fuck they should probably get paid. There's a lot of women that would be intimidated by what you do. Like that's just a fact of what it is. They shouldn't be, and they should feel comfortable. And I'm glad that you feel fucking comfortable doing what you're doing.
So much fun. I love it.
Because I've got to experience what you do for a living, and you're really fucking good at it. You're really fucking good at it.
Yeah, I forget that. because.
But what you're gonna need to do though is the next time the company I work for comes to the company you work for, I'm gonna need some fucking rye barrels on that floor.
You're not the first person that's ever said
if
that.
I had a freaking nickel.
I've been saying it ever since I had the first 10 barrels or whatever it was that got released to a special club. There was a specific barrel. The numbers may have been 1934. And that motherfucker was delicious. And since I tried that, like, I swear I have been the first motherfucker on that wagon. And I was like, we need barrel picks of this shit.
Okay, so here's the thing. I know exactly what barrel you're talking about. I agree with you. And when this bullshit's over, come over.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I may have just a lot of barrels.
I'm into that.
No, but it's a lot of fun because it's the best way to sort of keep your palate, awake. And I'm sure you have this experience too, working for who you work for. Like, you have to taste so much.
Yeah.
That if you don't.
Well, and even like what's crazy too is like I have to taste pretty much everything we have open that we serve so that I can
Yeah.
talk to everyone. And then every time I come into the store, my boss is always like, "Hey, try this, try this, try this, try this."
Oh yeah, that sucks for us, doesn't
And
it?
then the dude that's over beer will be like, "Hey, try this," or someone drop this off for you, because people just randomly drop shit off at the store for me sometimes. And
Yeah, I mean,
and
same, yeah.
so it's just
That's
like
awesome.
it's yeah, you're not wrong. I get fucking palate fatigue for sure sometimes.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Well, the funny part is I hardly ever really drink anymore.
No, this is mostly drinking.
I sip all the time, checking things out, testing my palate, whatever. But to sit down with like an actual pour and an actual drink, I'm probably celebrating something. Like it doesn't happen that much anymore.
Oh, God.
Not because I don't enjoy it. I love it, but there's just not a whole lot of time for it.
I don't I don't get to sit down and just enjoy drinking.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, we have two small kids, and me and my wife's work schedules are different, and so there's always something that's going on. I
Sure.
mean, plus the podcast. I mean, over this weekend, literally, I recorded an episode last night. I'm recording now. I'm recording one tomorrow evening on
But you're drinking
Monday.
now, and that's what matters.
Absolutely,
What
absolutely.
came first, the need for the drink or the podcast?
So I have been telling, and just because we're touching on a bunch of mental health shit right now, I this podcast is a very selfish thing that I'm doing,
Good.
and
Awesome.
That's awesome.
it's like I mean, there's a lot of art, I guess you could call it, that is selfish, but like this is a very selfish thing I'm doing. It's cool because I'm getting other people's stories heard by more than whoever they know, and but for me, like I just want to know shit. Like I've told Mike, like I don't suffer from depression. I do get depressed though. I don't suffer
Oh, for
from
sure.
anxiety, but I do get anxious at times.
Oh, for sure.
I've never had a time where I was seriously going to drive my car into a river, but I
That's
have
perfect.
thought I have thought to myself, this would be better without me. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting that those degrees are really what make the biggest difference, because I think that everybody knows what it's like to feel isolated or to feel like you're out of place or out of time or whatever. I think we've all had the thought of, man, if I just weren't here, then, but to go from that to like, I have a plan and this is what I'm going to do. Like that. I mean, that's when I scared myself.
That's when I was scared.
Was when I had an actual plan and I'm like, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. This is the reasoning behind this. And the only reason I didn't follow through with it is because I didn't have enough gas in my car. And in order to get gas, I was able to find ways to stop myself. But it's interesting how from a thought to an action, right? From word to deed, that kind of is what determines that. And the repetition, right? The frequency of it is what really determines whether do you have depression or do you suffer from it sometimes, because I suffer from depression sometimes, but I have anxiety disorder. That's my everyday flavor, but it's different. So when depression hits me, like I don't know how to handle it really well.
See, for a while, I thought I suffered from some anxiety, but it turns out that I was just mixing way too much marijuana with caffeine.
And don't you have children? I feel like, you qualify for all of it.
But something that people don't realize, and I'm glad people don't understand this. So I used to get really offended, like when people say like suicide's selfish, and they don't know that. And I'm glad they don't know this information.
But you think, I think in that moment, you think that you're helping other people out by removing yourself.
So and that's where the lack of compassion from that statement, you saying that, like my feathers, I left a marriage because somebody said that to me. Because a friend of mine committed suicide, and my husband at the time, his reaction was, well, that's selfish. I'm like, oh, well, you get fucked. And that was it. That was it.
And I mean, I'm against suicide. Like I'm here and,
I'm glad you're here, Mike.
My man. Thank you. Appreciate it. But like, when I was hospitalized for my first, I've never done a full attempt, but I was close a few times. And it's like, there are two quotes on the wall. If I ever get tattooed again, I really hate needles. I'm going to be one of those people that get those quotes. It's never look back because you're not going there. and some of the best days of your life you've yet to have. And one that really resonates with me the most, because when I used to be super suicidal, I used to just get up. If I see the sunrise, I made it to the next day. So sunrises are really important for me. I have art of sunrises. I wake up early to try to get sunrises. It's, you know, it's through the darkest nights come the brightest mornings. And you know, but that's where I was. If I saw the sunrise, I made it through. Yeah. But when you're suicidal, man, there is no right from wrong. You're going to do this decision, and people are like, well, do you know what you're doing? If you get to that point, for when I was suicidal, no, you're just in this state of mind.
You can rationalize everything.
I remember this is when I was supposed to Ashley, and I just remember begging her, like, leave me the fuck alone. I'm going to go kill myself. I had my plan. And she was like pulling me from like going out into the garage. And then I woke up crying, like, what the fuck was I thinking? That's what a suicidal state of mind is. It's not, I'm having a bad day, I want to go fucking kill myself. Mm-hmm. You're really in a different altered mind state.
It's like a calm desperation.
Yeah.
Because it's like eerily, you're not like, you know, you get to the point where it's like, you know what? No.
Yeah.
You're just like you're just calmly building. And obviously the plan is what a lot of this is referred to, I'm assuming, because you guys have both said the plan. So I'm assuming that's what the industry would kind of call like a certain level of severity there.
I mean, I guess seriously, I think when you don't have a plan, you're having a horrible time. But when you have a plan, it's like something, for me anyway, something like clicked.
Yeah.
Oh, this makes sense now. I can make this a reality, and then fuck it.
Yeah.
Fuck it. And that's what I mean by like a calm, quiet desperation.
Yeah. Because
you just want it to stop, but also you can't feel it anymore. And that's terrifying.
That's
scary.
When you don't have anything to lose anymore, when you don't feel, and that's why feeling pain is a great thing. Yeah. Because when you can't feel pain, it's over. It's over. Fuck it. What's the point, right?
Yeah.
So while you can still feel it, like relish it. It may not be the most pleasant feeling, but you know, it's like.
Well, what's crazy too is a lot of these
college, like you still got laid. It's all right.
Well, like a lot of these feelings, like it seems like the people that suffer more so definitely have a further in-depth experience of these feelings. But these feelings are feelings that I feel like everybody has. Like,
I agree.
Like there's definitely times in my life that I've been like, oh, I'm not accepted. But like and maybe it's just me personally. I just keep going until I find somewhere where I am accepted. And I think that there's just like for example, I used to do a lot of really hard drugs. And on one episode, eventually I will talk totally about everything I've done. Now's not the time. But I have done a lot of very, very hard drugs. And there are people like my sister. My sister couldn't, like, she's gone from coke to crack to heroin to shooting up meth, and now she's gonna do at least 3 to 5 in the state penitentiary for an involuntary manslaughter charge. And I got to a point where I stopped, and I didn't need rehab. I didn't need someone to talk to. I didn't need drugs to wean me off of what was going on. And I was an everyday user for multiple years. So I just got to a point where I was done. And for me, it's a weird feeling because I look at people that have diseases of any kind, and like I'm on both sides. Like at some point I'm like, well, why can't you just give it the fuck up? But then I'm also like, but I get it too, because I was there and I kept chasing it.
Addiction is brutal, but that's the thing. We're hitting the same nail. It's the fact that it's a multifaceted thing. You can't just do one. I smoked cigarettes since I was 15 years old consistently.
I haven't had one in 3 months. I've been sucking on this fucking thing.
Yeah, don't you love having an oral fixation? It's great.
So, right? Just put it in my mouth. That's all I have to say.
That's COVID.
But here's the thing. I tried to quit. I tried the Chantix. Oh my God, if you want to
did you have the suicidal shit and the bad dreams?
Yes, I did. And the insane dreams. Insane dreams. You don't, the things that you see yourself doing are what makes you want to kill yourself. Because it's like, how did I imagine that? How do I have the capacity for that? But I tried that. I tried cold turkey. I tried the hypnotherapy. I tried all kinds of shit. You know what it took? My father had to die from a lung related issue and old age, but from a lung related issue for me to be scared enough. And even then I didn't stop. I had to make it stupid. I bought those really expensive, skinny old lady cigarettes, the Virginia
Oh
Super
yeah.
Longs,
Yeah.
like $10 a pack, and they're super long and skinny, and you can't possibly, if you have any dignity, light that shit in front of somebody else. So I would wait at the end of the day, and that was like my treat cigarette.
Like you'll have your casual smokers like on the back deck. Those Virginia Slim ladies are back in the alleyway.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. So exactly, you're not going to show your face in public. So I would do it in the on the porch at night in the dark before I went to bed, the last cigarette, and until I weaned off of it. But I'm lucky. I know people that have tried and they've tried everything and they still can't stop. We all need something. I think human beings are you know, and I overthink everything, and my education, my background is philosophy and neuroscience and addictions. So this is kind of like a rabbit hole for me. But I think we all need something to be hooked onto. That's what COVID has fucked with everybody's mental health too. Because let's say that you didn't have any of the issues that you had, right? And you're still happily married and you've got your burn, think about everything. If you lose jujitsu, just that, it doesn't matter that you have mental health issues or not. Like, it's going to cause the things that we're addicted to, like it's going to cause something. Ideally, we can find good things to be addicted to. You know, and I think as we grow older, we find easier things to get addicted to, but that's not to make light of people that can't just kick it. It's not because some people are stronger or weaker. There are so many factors, just like aging bourbon in a barrel. You know how it is. There's so many factors. You can't pin it down on one thing.
Yeah, like not all not all 4-year bourbon is on the same level, you know, like Jim Beam isn't that good.
Stave on that barrel is different. Some of it's disgusting, some of it's fantastic. But that's, I mean, we're people, we're even infinite.
I was going to start listing all the 4-year bourbons I know, but I decided
with one, really.
But you know, with this whole addiction thing though, man, like, and I feel bad. Like, I used to call people like those people and addicts, and I'm a very inclusive person. When I was an inpatient, you know, inpatient is basically that's your mental health unit at a hospital. When you're sick, when you're really sick.
I have visited friends of mine in the inpatient floors at hospitals.
Oh my God, it's so boring.
And here's the thing for me, because I've had mild experiences with the same feelings that they have.
Yeah.
When I was there, like, it felt weird as fuck for me to be there. So I can't, like, I was gonna say I can only imagine, but I can't imagine. If it feels weird for me, like, that's your hell. Like, that's your, like, you're in your hell at that point.
When you're put in a box and they're like, we're gonna watch everything you do and take away everything you own so that you don't kill yourself, you know what to do, or you know what I did anyway?
I slept.
Oh, I obsessed over how can I kill myself then? I don't even want to kill myself, but wait a minute. What can I dismantle in this room? Because you're not outsmarting me. You don't tell me what to do.
We had Velcro doors.
So I do what I want. I do what I want.
So we actually had Velcro doors.
Yes, like the screens with the
Like my shower door was Velcro. It actually Velcro.
Oh, you had your own shower?
But it was Velcro.
Oh, get fucked.
But it was fucking Velcro.
there was a communal thing they took us to.
Ew.
But this is what I discovered. And there were Venetian blinds in my room.
That's like them county jail shower times.
Dude, it was in Kentucky and like Moorhead, like Kentucky. It was bad.
But the beautiful part. The beautiful part of Kentucky.
Myself into something. Yeah. Moorhead, literally the Moorhead KY along the Licking River next to Twin Knobs Recreation. You can't make that shit up. But no, like, did you know the Venetian blinds have these little weights on the bottom?
Yeah.
Okay, so like, can you choke on that? Maybe you can take the Venetian blind and you can strip it, and you can, like, you made me hyper focus on this horrible shit. Like, it's the worst environment to put somebody that's depressed and scared is in an empty room where you can't have any of your shit.
Yeah.
No strings, no strings on swords, no shoestrings.
They took away my lipstick. Why? Like it's my
They think
constant. What
they
am I
think you
gonna
were
do?
gonna
That I'm gonna be too cute? I can't kill myself because I'm too sexy. Like take my why?
and me knowing you for the little amount of time that I've known you, you always have some kind of outstanding lipstick on.
Always.
Like,
Thank you.
And
always.
It's a thing.
For
And
the
nails. And the nails. It's a thing. And I don't know. It's I like it. It makes me happy. I wear it under the freaking mask too, because I do it for me, right?
Yeah.
That's an important part of my mental health because it's part of my identity. And you're gonna take away literally the only constant. We all need something to be addicted to.
You
It
should
can
just
be
draw.
religion,
You should draw
drugs,
some like
whatever.
draw some creepy ass lips on the outside of your mask.
Oh my god. Get my lips tattooed on.
Oh,
Just
man.
some fucked up. Also, what I will say is because you always are wearing lipstick. Thank you for not going outside the line of your lip.
Oh,
Thank
no.
you. Thank you. So my wife is she does hair. She's very into cosmetology. She follows a lot of friends that do makeup and shit like
Nice.
that. And so I see a lot of this shit because it pops into like the you might know section.
Mhm.
There are so many females in the Cincinnati area that get paid to do makeup that go outside the line of their lip. And I know why they're doing it. They're doing it to make their lip look bigger. However, I see right through the bullshit and
So
I
does
just go,
everybody though.
every time I see it, I just go, you never painted by number. Clearly, you never painted. Can anybody,
You
can
were
you guys
not
see
paying
this?
attention in kindergarten. I'm with you. And here's the thing, like, you know, I'm all about experimenting and playing. Listen, I love the winged eyeliner. That shit, one of them's always fucked up. That's just the way it goes. That's okay. You just keep messing with it till you figure it out. But lipstick outside the lines of the lips, I'd rather have a beautiful narrow lip that's angular and pointy and different than like, oh look, I look like a Kardashian, just because that's the flavor of the week.
I
You
don't
know
want
what
to
I mean?
I don't want to generalize or anything, but once the lipstick goes outside the line of the lip, immediately I go hooker. That's definitely a hooker. Has to be.
The problem is you look like a clown though, because we all have the
Yes.
association with the clown. And you know, if you can do it well, there's some people that are really good, and at the end of the day, it's like trompe l'oeil, like it's an optical illusion. And if you can do it well, like rock on. Everybody wants big, sexy, thick lips, whatever. But I tried it. I looked like a moron. And no.
Well, like I always tell people, like,
To know that it looks stupid. Like I think by the time you hit a couple of makeup trends, like over plucking, under plucking, the dark lipstick, it's universally bad.
well, yeah, it's an absolutely ridiculous. Like I think more people should just embrace themselves. Like if you hate that your upper lip is thinner, like it just is who you are. And like if you have small teeth, big gums, or big gums, or small gums, big teeth, like whichever weird ratio you were
Yeah.
blessed with, like it
You're
just
the
is what it
hottest
is.
version of yourself that's out there, right?
Like I have a crooked smile. Like when I smile, like my shit,
I do
it's not
too.
Yeah.
like it's fucking crooked. When I talk, like, and it's only because I film myself doing these, so I get to watch myself over and over because I edit. Like I do everything for this podcast. Every bit of this is me. So
Should we put
I
really weird shit in here to like make your editing life hell?
no, this
Like
is
I can
easier.
just switch into Spanish and like everybody can just think they had a stroke.
If you switch to Spanish, the only thing I'm going to do is ask you where the bathroom is.
El baño está por ahí por la puerta.
But you know, I forget that you're from Puerto Rico. Did I do that right?
You're close.
And then she'll call up her sister. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Well, but the funny part is it's Spanglish. It's not totally Spanish. Like Puerto Ricans, ask any Puerto Rican you meet. Like we don't just.
Well, it's like me and my wife went to Mexico for our honeymoon, and I know a little bit. Like I know enough Spanish to get me by and order food.
You know where the beer is, where the tacos are, where the bathroom is.
Yeah. And what was crazy, like I took a little bit of Spanish in high school, and I honestly never had a chance to use any of it. And then we got married, so I was 12 years removed from high school when I got married, and
I thought you were about to say that you were 14 when you got married, and I was about to shit a brick. I'm like,
Kentucky's a motherfucker.
I know. Like, damn.
No, but when we went to Mexico, like it was crazy because I was always told by my teachers that you know, when you actually have to use this, like it'll just pop up. It'll be crazy because you won't even notice it. And like I hadn't spoken Spanish in 12 years and then went to Mexico. And like I was ordering dinner for me and my wife
It
in
worked for you?
Spanish, and yeah.
Nice.
And it was just cool. Like the cigars, like I bought cigars in Spanish and I ordered my drinks, and they all knew English, but it was just cool for me to correspond with them in
Yeah.
a way that was respectful of who they are.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, and we love it. I'm sorry, but we love
oh,
it.
and
Anytime
this
somebody
is
cries, it's like, oh my God, you're so cute. Ah, it's great.
well, and this is the greatest story about going to Mexico. So when we went there, of course, everyone knows that if you want marijuana, ask the guy that drives you to your resort, because that's the guy. You don't want to buy weed off
I
the
know
dude
now.
walking. You don't want to buy weed off of the dude walking down the beach because he has shitty weed. You want to buy weed from the guy that's driving you, because clearly he knows people. He's got a fucking car. And
I feel
so
like this is obvious and I'm just learning it now. Wow.
so I've always been told this, right? So we go to Mexico and we land, and I tell Amy, like we scheduled a private car to take us. We didn't want to get on the big van with everybody.
Smart.
So we had our own private, and it was our fucking honeymoon. Like I
Yeah.
hate, as nice as I am to both of you,
Oh, you hate people?
I hate most people.
Yeah, that's why that's why I like you.
So we get a private car, and I told my wife, I'm going to ask this gentleman to buy us some weed. And I said it in English thinking like he's totally speaking Spanish, he won't know. And he looked back and he was like, how much do you need? And I was like, oh shit. And
so
then
convenient.
Amy freaks out. She's like, no, you're not buying weed from this guy. You can't go to jail in a foreign fucking country. No, we just got married. Don't do it. Don't fucking do it. So I didn't ask him for any weed, right? So we get to our resort. Turns out at this particular resort, it was the Hard Rock in Punta Cana. So we're or not Punta Cana, Riviera Maya. Sorry, Punta Cana is totally different. Fucking that's Dominican Republic.
That's Dominican Republic, right? Okay, I'm like that sounds, but I haven't been to Mexico, so who knows?
So
right?
we were in Riviera Maya. It's like an hour and a half south of Cancun, right? And beautiful fucking place. And of course the resorts are beautiful. The rest of Mexico sucks ass, but the resorts are nice. And so we're at the Hard Rock. It had just opened. It had been open for like 2 months, right? There is a US international bikini competition taking place at this resort for the entire week that we were there. So, needless to say, the views were fantastic.
I'm sure that was a wonderful honeymoon.
Like my wife didn't want me to buy weed, right? But every fucking night in the fucking pool of this place, there are 3 DJs going and a fucking foam party in the pool and mounds of cocaine on all of these tables all around the pool at a Hard Rock fucking resort. And like, I ended up going down and participating in the events that were taking place. However, standing on the balcony, like I'm just looking at my wife in disgust. I'm not even looking like down at the party, right? I'm looking at her and I'm just pointing down and I'm like, and you didn't want me to get any fucking weed.
Some weed. I could have been a contender.
You thought I was going to go to jail for weed, and they're down here literally suffocating on cocaine.
You gotta understand, like we've all seen that Lifetime movie with Claire Danes or whatever. Like,
oh, absolutely.
I don't want to go to that jail either. Like,
Man, I mean, when I was down in Cancun. This one I was still married, like, newly weddish. The one time I worked out, because I gotta make sure I look good by the pool, right?
Duh.
And I left my safe open. My ex-wife got her wedding ring stolen. So we actually got a room searched. They said they couldn't find any like abuse. And if you want to file a police report, it's going to be $1,000. Said you're not from Mexico. I'm like, I just got extorted.
Hard.
Wow.
You just bring yourself a translator. I got you.
And then, and it's.
They're not going to fuck with a Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
I gotten your ring back
So,
and a free room.
I've not been back to Mexico since because I got a very expensive ring stall.
So I should just go ahead and admit this, because I've admitted this to a couple friends, and this is gonna make me seem like a piece of shit, and that's totally okay because that's growing. So when we first got to Mexico, my wife has got some serious bad luck traveling internationally. Every time she hits that fucking button, it's a goddamn red light, which holds everything up. Jesus fucking Christ. Every time. Every fucking time. So that happened. And then we get in the car. We finally get to the first resort we were supposed to stay at. We get there, and we scheduled this trip like a year and a half in advance, I believe is what it was. We get to the resort, and when we get there, they tell us, sorry, we overbooked. We're going to have to send you somewhere else. Jose's outside waiting. And that's a racist fucking remark because his name wasn't Jose.
Oh,
I mean, are
So
you sure?
it could have been. I don't remember his name. It could have been Raphael. I don't fucking know what his name was. So so they were like, you can get in the car and they'll take you to we partner with other resorts and we'll just take you there. And I'm flipping out already. I'm like, no, we booked this a year and a half ago. Like, kick out the motherfucker that booked 3 months ago. Like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
And then they were like, well, if you use this voucher within the next year, you can get a whole week's free stay. And I was like, all right, we'll go to the other resort. So we get in the car. He takes us to the Hard Rock. That's how we end up at the Hard Rock. We get there, and the first resort has not communicated to the Hard Rock that they were bringing us there. And we're asking for a key for a room. But I've never left the country. Like, this is the first fucking time I've left the country. And they were like, well, we don't have a room set up for you because, like, they didn't tell us you were coming and blah, blah, blah. And, like, now I'm just freaking the fuck out because whatever his name is that brought me there has already pulled off. And so I'm in Mexico.
Tie to the outside world is gone.
Yeah. And, like, I'm in Mexico. She wouldn't let me buy any fucking weed. Like, I can't calm down. We don't have a fucking room. I don't have a car. And, like, I just want to go home at this point. And so I sit down in the fucking lobby. Apparently, I'm saying things out loud that are echoing off the walls. And this cute little Mexican woman comes up carrying like pina coladas and other frozen drinks on her tray. And she comes up and she said, would you like a drink? And I was like, I don't even like your fucking country, man. Like, this sucks. This whole fucking shit sucks, man. This is supposed to be awesome. And then, so now my wife is acting like she didn't just marry me the night before. And
do you blame her?
and I looked like a fucking shitty ass fucking pushover American.
Gringo.
Yeah.
Gringo.
No, I did well.
Yeah, I looked like a piece of shit. I can admit it though. I did it, and I'm not fucking. I'm not proud of it.
A little book of like important shit to know.
Man, were you in your 20s or were you in your 30s?
32.
So 20s.
Well, no, 30. I got married at my 30. So yeah, late 20s.
Yeah, late 20s.
Boy, that's, looking back on the 20s, mid to late 20s. Man, looking back 20s, boy. When you're in your 20s, you have the world figured out. You get your first job that's not minimum wage, so you think
and it's fucked too, because like I thought that like I was a really well-rounded person, and then I catch myself just being a total dickbag to somebody that has nothing to do with what's going on. She was literally trying to give me medicine in the form of alcohol, and I'm like, nah, fuck you.
20-year-olds are the worst human beings alive. I'm sorry.
You're not fully formed yet.
But
like, we're allowed to have all this responsibility and all this decision making, and you're not like fully percolated yet as a human being. Yeah. The dumb shit that I did. Like, do you ever get mortified? Like, you think you all of a sudden out of nowhere, you're hit by this, like, what the fuck did I do at that bar that one time? Whoa.
Facebook.
Like, what? It's like
Facebook happened in your 20s.
Yeah, but MySpace.
So I once said something to a guy that I wish I never would have said to him, and I'm not going to admit it on here, but I will tell both of you off of this episode.
Feel
'cause
free to text me so I can like react live.
it was not I mean I'll just fucking I'll video call you on Instagram after this and tell you, but it was really fucking bad. And it was fucked up because it was when I kind of realized like like as far as racism shit goes, you definitely have hateful racism for sure. And then you also have a side of it that's ignorant as fuck. And
But there's
I
also
was
benevolent racism
Oh man.
oh, absolutely, absolutely. And
all the time.
and like when I said what I said, it was definitely an ignorant comment because that's what it was. It was just an ignorant fucking thing. And I was like, so, like as my mouth was moving, because I say a lot of shit and I don't think about any of it at
Oh,
all.
yeah.
I just
Yeah.
talk.
Same.
And
Oh, I don't know.
as these words were coming out of my mouth, it felt like I stopped and started to rewind and just eat my fucking words because I was like, how did I just fucking
Everybody, you know, that
it,
you have that moment. It's not always a racist thing, but you know, you have that moment where you're like, where did this verbal diarrhea come from? What the are you saying? Kind of brain fart. But I
yeah,
think there's room for I always joke about this. I call it benevolent racism. You know, I served for a long time. Lo and behold, addictions research was not for me. So I rage quit that and I served for a really long time. And you know, I'm very animated, and people would always ask, "How are you so animated?" And the joke becomes, "Because I'm Puerto Rican." Oh, well, that explains it. But then you have people
that makes sense. A sassy Latino lady.
oh my God, she's hot blooded. I mean, I am, but then you have
Is Puerto Rican still considered Latino? I don't want to fucking cross any lines there.
absolutely, absolutely. Where I'm a Latina, I'm a Hispanic, I'm you know that's so interchangeable. But yes,
Which box do you mark on the census?
holy
Yes.
crap, I mark yes.
Yes.
No, it's funny because now it's I always mark Caucasian. I mean, I'm as white as they come. I'm see-through. Literally was bullied my entire life for being see-through. So I always it's always Caucasian, and then it's like, are you Hispanic or Pacific Islander or some other sort of sneaky non-white person? Like, yeah, it's me.
Like, man,
But
like, no joke. The first time I've actually seen you experience it's kind of blatant racism.
yeah, that was not benevolent. That's I know what you're about to say.
Yeah, so there's this farm down in Kentucky.
This really cool like Airbnb camping situation place that we go to.
So this guy's like an artist, and he creates this like really unique campsites. And we go down there from time to time. And we met a couple from Sharonville, Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
Super cool. And you know, they invited us down again. So we went down again and we're drinking. And she's like, Mike, we need to go to bed. I'm like, oh no. I mean, we brought down a lot of whiskey to share and we got them pretty toasted. And man, people, boy, man, they laid it on thick. I was like clinging onto my pants. Like I was, Jiu-Jitsu Mike wanted to come out.
Yeah,
really
he wanted to kill these people because they just started being really, really racist, and it got really, really
like
ugly.
That.
Like Donald Trump comes up, my dead mother comes up, like all kinds of shit comes up. And it was like, I could tell, like I felt something in the air. I think when you're used to it, you feel it coming on, especially when you look like I do, right? Because I sound like this and I look like this. So unless I tell you, you probably don't know that I'm not white, that I don't English isn't my first language, blah blah blah. Like I get away with
I'll be 100% honest.
Did you?
The first time that I met you was at a barrel pick, and I wouldn't have guessed that you came from Puerto Rico. And
yes, Puerto Rico.
So I wouldn't have guessed that by any means at all.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I saw it was either a post on Instagram or Facebook, one of the two. But it wasn't until you said something. But also for me, at the point that I'm at now that I've moved away from telling Mexicans that I hate their country.
They're trying to give you alcohol. You dick.
Now that I've grown, but I'm at a point now where like it doesn't fucking matter. Like I don't fucking care. So like
Yeah.
but I didn't know until you said anything.
Yeah,
But
most
I
people don't care. But the thing about it is that it's really weird to say, because when you live in this kind of body that like you pass or whatever you want to call it, you feel it coming because certain people can just tell. I don't know how to explain it, but these people could tell.
it's
And
that Spidey sense.
it was an issue.
Oh, by the way, Mike,
You know what?
Ooh,
I'm
That's
gonna
the-
join you.
that's the 2020 Caramella. I couldn't.
caramel. Oh,
Is this? Should I do this for you? Yeah.
he's asking you, Patrick.
Should I
That's
do
the
this?
Weller. Fuck yeah, do it.
All right. I was going to save it for Christmas, but that's okay.
We got it at our favorite.
We did get it from our favorite place to buy the spirits.
Yep. Can we
not
say
to-
that? Like that we're that person, my friend Eric, your friend Eric, our friend Eric.
I love my friend Eric. So you know what's cool about my friend Eric, and I'm gonna edit this and send it to him because I kind of had a conversation with him about this not long ago.
Nice.
Here, try this.
Sure.
So early on, and I haven't gotten to talk about this on the podcast much either, so I might as well just do this too. So when COVID first happened and they were saying that like kids and elderly people were high at risk, especially anyone with underlying conditions. My son has a lot of food allergies. He has asthma, he has eczema, he's got a bunch of shit. Like he has fucking things going on.
Pre-existing conditions, yeah.
So at the beginning of them, my wife does hair, so her salon was shut down, and she was laid off. And I work in a liquor store, so my stores stayed open, and the locations we have in the airport got closed down. So I transitioned to working in the store during the time we were closed at the airport. And because I'm still working with the general public, and my son has whatever going on, me and my wife had a conversation that maybe it would be better if I stayed somewhere else for a little bit.
Yeah. That's
So
so
for like,
hard.
there was a 5-week period, probably like in the middle of April. There was a 5-week period from the middle of April. I didn't fucking live at my house. I didn't come home to my wife. I didn't come home to my kids. I stayed at my friend Sean's house, who I actually started this podcast with.
Yeah.
I stayed at his house. I would pick up some things at the grocery. Like my wife didn't leave the house for 5 weeks. She didn't leave
Yeah.
anywhere at all. And I would run to the grocery. We were doing a lot of the Amazon grocery shit because it just made it easy.
Instacart and all that stuff.
Yeah, but I'd pick up some things, but like, dude, for 5 weeks, anytime that I saw my kids, it was me dropping shit off at the front door and like literally like squatting on my front porch and trying not to cry in front of my fucking kids.
Yeah.
And then after I try not to cry in front of my kids, I have to go fucking help people decide what the fuck they want to drink tonight. And then
Yeah.
like, of course, I got disconnected as fuck. Eric saw that. Eric gave me 2 weeks off. He gave me 2 weeks off paid. And the cool shit, like Eric he has forced me to learn more about myself by forcing me to learn about myself. Like
Yeah.
He's a good dude.
He's such a
like
great
he's
person, though. Like he has such a great energy.
absolutely
Absolutely. It's contagious. And it's one of those things where you catch yourself. Like he's such a great guy
I
that like
practice
the
for
the first couple times like that we talked outside of just a business setting, I'm like, this is really cool that this guy's so nice to me because he's so cool. Like he's so positive, and there wasn't an angle.
Yeah, there
You
was.
know, with so many people, there's an angle, and there just wasn't. He was just genuinely pleasant and fun to talk to, and that makes me really happy to hear that because I can't imagine having to do that.
Well, and to be honest too, like before like I wasn't okay in my head. I mean, as far as the mental health shit goes, like I wasn't okay. Like I didn't get to go home. Like I hadn't even touched my wife in 4 weeks, and I haven't been able to hug my fucking kids. And at the time, that was before Oscar turned 5. So like our son was 4, and my daughter, it was before she turned, or it was right after she turned 2. So like I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, and I can't even fucking touch them.
Oh,
Like I can't hug them.
I can't imagine, man. I haven't seen my dogs in 2 weeks. I'm just dying.
I'm right. Exactly. Like,
I told her
and
we need to quarantine. She's like, "Fuck no, we're not."
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna go here. You're gonna go. She's like, "Nope."
I'm like, no.
But
I
we don't have
can't.
kids. I can't
can't.
imagine what that would be.
I can't.
which hey Mike, which pick did you just pull off a shelf?
It is from a pick called From Depths.
They're waxing their stuff too now. Oh,
The Depths pick from the new riff.
that's Cork. I know the
Cork.
sticker.
Ah, god damn it, Cork.
That was a good one though. That was a really good fucking
I'm trying to be
barrel.
sneaky, and
I'm
that
trying to be
would've
sneaky.
worked.
Oh man.
That is a really good.
Oh,
Edit
no,
that
you
out.
can say you're drinking a pick from Cork.
No,
Like
yeah.
I'm drinking tonight. What I've been drinking on is this Grander rum. It is a 12-year rum from Panama. And then it was aged for 20 months in a Heaven Hill rye barrel.
Ooh.
And it came out at 127.4 proof, and it's fucking delicious. The owner of Grander, I actually got to meet. I'm not gonna say where. I got to meet him, and the coolest thing about what he said about starting Grander rum was that 90% of people that drink rum, this is verbatim what he told me. 90% of people that drink rum drink really shitty rum.
Yep. I can't drink rum. What I
Dude, if you had this would be a totally different ball game, dude. I'm telling you, man.
So when I first started getting in shape, because when I came out of college, I was about 260, 270. And when I first, like, every guy that gets into jiu-jitsu.
Did you wrestle in college?
No.
Or at a high school level?
No, I was a baseball player.
Same.
Nice. What position?
I was a pitcher, and then when the team I played for found a better pitcher, I transitioned to first base. It was really cool.
Yeah. I hate though. Like, that's why they had me. You know, like, I played first base, but I get to baseball kind of far.
I could have been a DH for sure.
I ain't mad, man. Like, I got to be on some really cool teams. Got to travel, the U.S. and I swung a bat once a game. I'm cool with that. So, but no, like, when I came out of college, I was heavy. I went into college. I was an athlete in high school and probably a solid 200 pounds. I came out about 260. So UFC, man, think about 15 years ago. UFC was brand new. I'm like, every UFC guy.
I've been watching UFC since UFC 1.
Exactly, right? And man, every guy that comes into a gym, I can do that. I'll beat these motherfuckers up. So I went to a gym. I'm like, I need to lose some weight. I get punched in my face. Oh, God, that hurts. And I'm like, I'm going to do this jiu-jitsu. Like, I can wrestle because I wrestled in middle school. I get tapped out by a 135-pound motherfucker. I'm like, what is going on with my life? So how I got, how I got into like the grappling arts and things like that. So funny how that works, right? But so when I came out, my strength and conditioning coach was like, no, you drink rum. It's like, I know you like to drink beer, but you drink rum. So I drink rum. So like, I mean, like, I was almost punished with rum. So like, I was able to lose about 70 pounds. I got down to about 195. I never fought. I was a white belt in jiu-jitsu. If any white belts are listening to this podcast, don't cut weight. Just get good at your sport.
Just focus on what you're doing before you cut weight to do anything.
Oh man, I cut weight so bad, almost had to get surgery. I was so constipated. Like, I was all like,
well, with fighting too, and this is only because Zach Moody is a very, very good friend of mine.
Zach Moody is a bad motherfucker. I don't
He
know
is
personally, but I know of Zach Moody. He's a scary dude. So
dude, I've known him, and here's the thing: Zach and I met when we were 12 to 13 years old, and we were both just overweight messes. And I just continued to be an overweight mess. And at some point, he was like, dude, I'm tired of fucking looking like this. So he just started working out and he started training and he took some boxing classes. And like, dude, he's gone to Master Toddy's fucking camp in Thailand. Like he's serious about what he's doing. And it's just crazy to see how far he's taken himself. Like, dude, he makes his living selling supplements on the internet.
Yeah.
And but it's just it's crazy to see the transition that can happen in somebody's life from just that. Like he, like dude, in the midst, like he used to work at Paramount on the West
Yeah,
Side,
I remember.
and I don't personally know the fucking guys that run Paramount, but apparently they're not great fucking dudes. And
Supplement business are probably not the best of
no. Well, and it was supplements and a gym. But apparently like they were like cutting their trainers like really shitty percentages and shit like that. And so they just decided to fucking leave. And this was like right at the beginning of kettlebells being the thing, which kettlebells, like, fuck your dumbbells, fuck your barbells. I don't give a fuck about your deadlift. Fuck that shit. Throw some kettlebells around. That's real life motion. Like
Every muscle.
that's
Core, legs, arms, your
it's
mental.
functionality. It's fucking functionality. Like for me, I pick up my kids all day. So that's exactly like picking a kettlebell up off the floor to my chest.
Yep.
What fucking thing do you do in life where this is the fucking
I mean, if
this
you
is
really
the,
fucking hate somebody, okay, some of us
But
need
no.
to push people.
So-
like are you training to be in a bunch of fucking riots? Like I
I'll
don't
tell you this,
fucking know.
Fuck off.
Yeah, so
Fuck off.
there's one. So I do my run right max, which isn't a lot because I have a torn labrum in my shoulder.
Yeah, you've had shoulder issues, in which a lot of people that train jujitsu have fucking shoulder fucking
Are
shit.
deadlifts the algebra of like the situation?
No, deadlifts you pick the weight off the ground.
No, I know, but like, when the fuck do you use algebra?
It's from floor to the hip, and then people go,
Okay, so
"Oh, I'm Kentucky's strongest man."
bench press. That's
Dude,
the algebra.
So I was in the
of weight
semifinals.
training.
Man, I was in the semifinals of the Pan Ams. Like I was killing it, right? Beating these motherfuckers. Excuse my language, motherfuckers. I'm really good with.
Hey, look, this gets listed on Spotify as not being safe for kids, so we're good.
And for once, I'm not the one that's cussing like a sailor. It's usually
So,
me.
but-
I'm
but,
trying to
like,
be good.
But you learn this, like, and I'm really good friends with the people I compete against. I mean, especially at my age, I'm 37. I'm fighting against like corporate executives. But dude, like when it's time to fight, it's time to fucking fight, right? And I was going against this guy in the semifinals of the Pan Ams. I was so cocky going into this. Man, Charles threw me. 315-pound guy threw my ass, right? I'm like, what the hell is going on? When you're in the bottom of somebody that's 315 pounds that just picked you up and threw you, you're bench pressing them all.
Some people pay.
Yeah.
So I cannot, unfortunately, I cannot bench press Charles off.
All right, so it's not the algebra. I will find the algebra. Maybe it's this one.
Because like the jiu-jitsu people.
Hey, that one makes the tries look good though. I ain't against that one.
But the jiu-jitsu people, right? If people listening are caught praying, this is where you block the arm and the tricep.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I got to bridge up and get someone that's 315 pounds trying to like break my neck.
Well, and like what I learned with kettlebells is the momentum and the angles and the force and like it's like so when you do like a clean and press with a kettlebell,
yep,
that exercise is from your toes all the way up to your wrists. Like that's because when you clean that thing and you've got it sitting on your chest, before you push it up, that comes from your toes and it ripples all the way through into your arm to push it up. And it's a whole, like, kettlebells and beating the fuck out of a tire with the sledgehammer is the best exercise I've ever gotten.
What do you call the part where you smack yourself in the face and like break your jaw with the kettlebell? Because that's what I would be doing right away. Right away. If there's a way to like get hurt, I'll find it.
Hey, man, this is how you're going to get rich. Like anytime I do like I call it light fit, it's like CrossFit, but a lot easier. But it's actually a lot harder. I mean, my workouts are
your workouts are insane.
She'll just watch me and just cheer and like sexualize it and catcall me. I'm like, what is going on? You know, I can't even see straight. So I do a lot of functional fiction.
Show me what you can do with that. It works. It works.
And so I'm just saying, like that's
and it's enjoyable.
That's how you get rich.
That's how I get rich.
People can hire you to be the
I'm gonna like hype you up by like treating you like a piece of meat while you're trying to work out.
This
kettlebell? Yeah.
This isn't kettlebell related though.
What's
If
that?
we're talking about shitty rum,
I've never even fucking heard of that.
I know you haven't. So this is what, okay, so like on the island, we make fun of people.
This is from Puerto Rico,
This
right?
is from Puerto Rico. And it's a Puerto Rican white rum with natural flavors.
So sugar.
Sort of. What it is it's Palo Viejo rum, which is actually, it's what we drink over there. It's not anything. It's Palo Viejo. We don't really drink Bacardi or anything like that. But it's
I do like the fact that it's cleared. It's clear. I do like that.
But this is it's got anise paloma in it, which is an anise liqueur, a star anise liqueur. Would you get me that yellow wrapped foil bottle? It's over there somewhere.
So quick question. So in Puerto Rico at all, is mezcal a thing there?
No.
Or is that a Mexican thing for sure?
Because you need like the agave and all that. I don't have that. Yeah.
So
it's gonna be sugar cane. It's gonna be rum.
Mezcal beats the fuck out of some tequila. I will fucking say that.
Oh, for sure. But this stuff, so like the white people that like give up on life and they move to the island and they just get really drunk, we call them pickled, and they just like sleep on the beaches and shit. This is what they're drinking. It's delicious. It's white rum with like a star anise liqueur. Now this is a different brand, but basically they take star anise root, licorice root, and then crystallize it with rock candy, and they pour the clear spirit into here. And this is a syrupy, thick sort of star anise flavored thing. A little bit of this in just basic plain white rum makes chichaito. Now let me tell you a little Spanish. This, I'm not going to tell you the infinitive verb, but let's just say that this kind of translates loosely into just the tip. It's fucked like just a little bit. So it's white rum with just a little bit of this kind of thing, which is also, this is also from Puerto Rico as well.
Once it hits the lips, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Just the tip.
So, Mike, are you going to be watching this main card tonight?
I haven't been interested in UFC for a while. It's been years. So when I started competing professionally, I started competing on the Fight to Win Pro cards. Fight to Win, you can actually purchase on Flow Grappling.
Okay.
To me, like I really love and appreciate MMA because what people don't understand, like especially MMA fighters right now, like they're a professional boxer, they're a professional kickboxer, or a professional wrestler, and they're really, really good at jiu-jitsu. I'm just not interested in that. I'm interested in jiu-jitsu. So I watch a lot of professional jiu-jitsu. So, I mean, I can't even tell you who's fighting tonight. So,
well, I watch. I don't keep up on the cards as much as I used to by any means. I still watch though, but I also I watch all the Bellator events. And
I was about to say Bellator. I have a lot.
Well, literally, when I was sitting down, preparing what I kind of wanted to do with this episode tonight, I was actually watching some fucking super low budget and probably in the gymnasium of a high school somewhere getting thrown on pay-per-view. I'll have to look up the league and tell you whatever fucking league or whatever it was I was watching, but I was watching some shit that it looked like it was being filmed and commentated by dudes that had probably never watched the sport. But it's guys that are fighting for their fucking career, you know what I mean? And
I'll tell you this about Bellator, man.
I like to watch, as far as MMA in general goes, I like to watch all levels of it. I
do. Professional is professional. That's what people don't get. If someone's giving you money to fight someone, they're really, really good. And, what people don't get about the UFC, and this is why I don't like to watch UFC with a lot of other people, because UFC is like the NFL. Somebody like myself, I'm 37 years old. I'm not making the Bengals tomorrow, right?
Never. Yeah.
And people are like, oh yeah, the UFC. No, the UFC is the highest of the highest. I fought a lot of people in the UFC and Bellator because they do compete in, the gi jiu-jitsu.
And even my buddy Zach, he has gone to Vegas for that the big pro-am fucking jiu-jitsu event they have in Vegas. He's competed at that multiple times.
I've beat it at the Masters World out in Vegas. I mean, I've done all the tournaments, but one of the guys that's in my affiliation, John Salter, he's a contender for the 185 belt at in Bellator. And this guy, like again, like he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Man, I've rolled with John, and it's like rolling with rolling is jiu-jitsu sparring. I know you know that, but
Yeah.
when I train with John, God, man, it's like getting hit by a freight train. He's 185 on 230. Those people that are even in Bellator are such a high level. It is ridiculous, man. Like John is one of the best black belts I've ever rolled with. Him and there's a guy out of Louisville called Chewy. Chewy's
Yeah. I was gonna ask you about him, but I was hoping you'd bring him up instead of me.
you know about jiu-jitsu?
Yeah.
That's my buddy, man.
So you knew you met him before he was famous on YouTube.
I met Chewy, man. I met Chewy when I was a white belt. Who would have thought I was a cocky white belt? Which a cocky white belt, man, it's like a cocky 13-year-old that like a varsity football practice, right? And Chewy, like I was at a tournament, I just started talking shit to him. He's my size. I think he just got his black belt. And but people don't understand, like Chewy, for like talking jiu-jitsu, he's one of the best people that has ever come out of Kentucky. Like he just won his third Pan Ams in without the gi called no gi. Chewy is unreal. But it's cool to have someone like him kind of take me under his wing. We weren't under the same school, we were just friends. And then eventually we're under the same coach, Sean Hammond's Jiu-Jitsu. And luckily, like we compete together, but you know, I've known Chewy for 10, 15 years, and I'll still text him talking shit. And someone like John Salter, Chewy, I would never get to their level of jiu-jitsu. And I can hold my own, right?
Yeah.
And there's people in the UFC, they're at such a high level, and it's crazy, man. This is why
Dude, I would love to have you and Chewy on an episode. That'd be just to talk about straight fighting.
I think I can get Chewy on. He has his own podcast too.
Yeah. I've watched quite a few episodes.
Yeah, Chewy's cool, and I like Chewy. I saw him recently. I used to try to go down to Louisville and train about once a month because we're about the same size when I'm in shape. But because of COVID, I just don't feel comfortable training. But like I know he kind of got like really famous on YouTube, but man, Chewy is nasty. He makes me feel like I've never trained before. Seriously.
Dude, when this shit clears up, we should get an episode together to like go down there and
we
do an in person.
Absolutely. We'll get Chewy. We can get my buddy Eugene, who's also a brown belt on the Jiu-Jitsu podcast. Man, like I gotta hope Chewy doesn't even listen to this. Like I could just listen to him talk. Like he's super intelligent. Like he doesn't.
I'm gonna tag him now just to make him listen.
He's a good dude. He's our age. He's just a normal dude. Guy's insane in jiu-jitsu, but there's even like a level higher than him, and it's all the respect for those people that can like do this at a high level. I compete against people that are 35 to 39 years old, and I struggle. I mean, Chewy's fighting like world champions like every single day. Like it's insane, man.
Oh, I can only imagine. Well, I want to thank you for being on. Where did Alina go?
I have no clue. Alina, where are you? She's coming. This Bella Bear is not too bad, man. It's
good stuff.
It's underwhelming, but yeah, I'm happy.
Dude, this caramel is fucking good, bro.
Nice, man.
This thing's fantastic. Apple, cinnamon, caramel, bourbon barrel aged stout.
I can't tell you the last time I've tasted beer. If I don't win it in a raffle, I still enter all the Top Lane and Goliath raffles and stuff like that. But if I don't win it in a raffle, man, I'm not chasing it.
So as far as the Bourbon County brand stout release every year, I'm lucky enough to live within 30 seconds of Delhi Liquor.
Ooh.
And Delhi Liquor in the Cincinnati area. Like I know that people like to go to Cappy's, and I know people like to go to White Oak Marathon and Jeff's Marathon. Fuck all those places. And
Although,
it's not because I hate any of those places. I have scored some really cool shit at Cappy's, and they do take care of people, especially their place that's way out in the middle of nowhere. However, on Wednesday night before Thanksgiving, Delhi Liquor literally gets like 5 to 6 barrels of Bourbon County. And so they get like most of the variants. They always get the base. They try to get as many variants as possible. And I get to go fucking try them all. And I work at a fucking liquor store. So when we get ours, I'm like, yo, I don't want any of those except for that fucking one. And this was the one. This was the only one I wanted.
this is the only Bourbon County I got this year.
Dude, the Bourbon County is it's so much better on draft.
Oh, 100%. I'll tell you what, we're ending our podcast, but the one time I fought out in Vegas, I was a purple belt. So for those listening, it's white, blue, purple, brown, and black. Dude, purple belt's some serious fucking competition, dude. It is. You start to fight a lot of UFC fighters at purple.
You got a lot of hungry guys at that level, for sure.
Oh, you do. So the world championships for us old fox are out in Vegas. And I was ultra heavy. I couldn't make weight. I was 229 pounds. I had to lose 6 pounds. I just could not do it. So I had to fight ultra heavy. And I'm like, screw it, man. I'm going to go out to Vegas and fight ultra heavy. And I couldn't fight super heavy. That's what it was. And my friend, like when Instagram beer people became like a popular thing, my friend, she's like 50,000 followers for like drinking beer. She came up was like, hey, like I heard you're in Vegas. Come drink vanilla rye. Man, I went to this one bar out in Vegas, unlimited vanilla rye. That's how I got lucky in Vegas. Ever since then, I've not chased Bourbon County. So
I like the Bourbon County stuff. Some of the variants I don't care for. This one's cool because it's definitely it's a different thing for them. Like typically with Bourbon County releases, I've got a couple connections in Chicago, so if I can get a proprietor's blend, I'm gonna
you
get
get
it.
some crop. Dude, 2015 crop, is straight coconut. Oh, so good.
Dude, it's like last year's, it was the triple chocolate whatever, and it was fucking fantastic. And it's just cool because the people I've met, like I've met you, and when you were at your peak in the beer game, you got everything, and you were more than willing to share whatever. I mean, you and I have been in so many lines at Listerman directly, like within the top 5 number of people in line were you, me, and Tammy, and of course Mike Havron. And Mike's cooking up all.
You gotta love Mike Havron.
Mike Havron's cooking up the most delicious shit that he killed in the woods behind his house. Like who fucking knows? Mike Havron. This is what I love.
Loves Alina.
Mike is cool as fuck, and this is the reason Mike is cool. Mike is a very religious gentleman. Yeah. I am not religious by any means at all, and he's well aware of that. But the conversations that we have are not full of hate. The conversations that we have are it's my path to my conclusion and his path to his conclusion. Nice. And we accept each other. He explains shit in a way that he's not pushy about how he feels. Like that dude believes in God, like he believes God, and he believes that God exists and God's looking over people, and that's fantastic, and he's allowed to do that. I don't.
Same.
Some of my friends are like that. Like they're very religious people, or they were at some point very religious people, and we can have incredible conversation. I'm a spiritual person. I'm not a religious person at all. But those are the best kinds of people. You know, they're actually practicing what they preach. They're open-minded. They're caring. They're tolerant. They're treating other people the way that they would want to be treated.
Absolutely.
I call him my big brother because he's actually younger than me. But he's just saying, 6'2.5", 245. He's 6'3". I don't know what his
He's
weight is.
gigantic, man. And
That's
then the thing,
6'6".
here's the thing.
Aw.
He's not gigantic as far as like height or anything, right? But his hands are incredible, dude.
Like,
Incredible.
so
Like he'll hold a 12-ounce beer can and it looks like a 7.5-ounce Red Bull can. Like
that's my
it is
That's my big-
nuts.
Well, here's an excellent compliment for Mike. I had no idea he was religious. Mwah. That's the way to be.
You didn't know that?
No clue whatsoever.
So, and that's the greatest thing because he's not going to be the dude that comes out and tells you to shut up or stop talking about how you feel or
Yeah.
like Mike has sat, and it's only because I'm who I am. Mike has sat and listened to me dog religious people and churches and nonprofits for the most part, and he'll just sit there. But he also knows how much evil exists in the things that I mentioned. And
God, man, I wish
Like,
we would have brought this up earlier.
I
used to
do
be Southern.
Mike is such a purist in what he believes, but he also knows how much bullshit is out there. And that's a line that doesn't get jumped by many because most people are so involved in that this is so good, there's no way people are fucking people over.
Yeah.
You know, Mike Evans, one of the good people, man. He's that's my big brother, even though he's younger than me.
You didn't say he was older, just big.
Just larger. He's like me.
I
just-
think he's younger than me by a year or so.
I think is he like 34, 35?
God.
Yeah, he's younger by a year or two by me.
You're all babies.
So,
I'm not gonna be unprofessional and ask your age.
Oh, I'm proud of it. I'm gonna be 41 in like a week or so.
Rock your shit, girl. Rock your
Right?
shit.
I'm
Where-
happy. This was a glow up. You should have seen me at 15. I'm
Wear wear some fishnets on your birthday too.
I don't have to wait for my birthday for fishnets.
oh,
I'm just throwing it out there.
I'm wearing long pants today though. My leggings have
where did you?
llamas.
Who got you those?
Somebody got me these. They're part of my Christmas present, and they have llamas on them, so I had to steal them and put them on.
Well, I want to thank both of you guys for being on. I unfortunately and fortunately, I'm gonna watch this UFC event. But Mike, I absolutely fucking love you as a human being. I've known you. I mean, as far as the beer community relationship that you and I have had, or at least when I met you in the beer community, that shit's going on 7, 8, 9 years easily that I've known of who the fuck you are. Alina, I've gotten to know you in the last year and a half or so. You're a beautiful soul, and that was before I even knew that you were with my buddy Mike. And I appreciate who you are as a person. And Mike, I love you guys. You guys are fucking awesome.
Thanks for having
Love
us,
you
man.
right back.
We love you, man. It's-
You guys,
Yeah.
you guys have a fantastic night.